and this is the 105th meeting of our club. My name is Mohit Sahani, and I am the club sergeant at arms. My main role is to maintain order in the club meetings, and I hope I can follow that with your support. There's a saying that goes that every person has a story in them. And the mission of Toastmasters Club of Storytellers is to get yours out. In order for us to do that, we follow the Toastmasters Club mission. The Toastmasters Club mission is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member gets the opportunity to develop their communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. I see that we've got 12 people in the room, and I would like you all to take a moment to help us in this mission together. So in order to do that, let me share with you a link on the chat box, which is basically a way to register yourselves to the club. So you will just see a link on the chat box. I would request you to click on that link and register yourselves to our club. Just click on the link, please. Once you open the link, you will see the subscription button. So just put your email address there and click on subscribe. Later in the day, when you get a moment, just check the email so that you will activate your subscription. I hope everybody's able to get to the website.
Yes, done.
Okay, great. Once you have done that, I would now request you to scroll to the bottom of this page where you will see 5 links. If you're not already registered, then please register to our social media pages as well. You should see a Facebook link, so click on it and press subscribe. Click on the Instagram link and press subscribe. If you're a guest, then click on the WhatsApp group and click on the join us page. This way you will keep yourself connected with our updates, and we will get to hear from you, and together we will be able to build new stories in the upcoming year. There's also a YouTube link and our newest addition at the last, which is our LinkedIn page. So click on the LinkedIn and join us, follow us on LinkedIn as well. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if you're not able to follow. Okay, fantastic. Now that we have this done, let's continue. And before we start with the regular affairs of the meeting, it is my responsibility to share with you some ground rules. Number 1, there's no guideline which stops us from talking about sex, religion, or politics. However, these are sensitive topics, and therefore I would request all of you to handle these delicately. Number 2, there's also no guideline that everyone should be on mute all the time. In fact, I would encourage you all to stay unmuted and on video as much as possible. This would really encourage the speakers, but do maintain decorum throughout the meeting. That is really important. And number 3, Toastmasters are known to applaud a lot and smile a lot. So today, let's do that as much as we can. With that, I would like to invite our president for her opening address, Toastmaster Mehak Kapoor, a student of BCom Honors from Delhi University. She finds herself at peace when she's drawing, painting, reading, or listening to music. Let's join our hands together to welcome none other than the president of the club, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, Sergeant Tcst'S, for such a wonderful introduction. Good greetings, dear Toastmasters and dear members. Today, this is the beginning of the year, 1st of January 2023. I see many people as guests today in the meeting. So, starting with, first, I would like to reflect on the past year that I believe that in the past year, our club's mission was the change. That was the theme that we followed in the initial year, the storytellers that followed. Starting with, we moved towards hybrid meetings. We achieved 6 DCP goals together. We placed greater emphasis on PR strategies. Our club now has its official website. Weaving new stories has been our strength in the past year. Yes, we faced challenges, but nevertheless, we served a golden period. Hoping for the newer beginnings and the new adventures and the new challenges that 2023 will pose for us. Wishing everyone a happy and a prosperous new year 2023. For the coming year, I hope that we are weaving new stories. We are learning from them as well. And the vision so far for the storytellers is to create more and more stories, indulge in massive PR strategies. And I will also request each and every member of TCST to share your story as well as so that you get the feature on the club's website. Having said this, I would like to make a small announcement regarding the area level table topic contest and the speech contest that is planned for 15th of January. Timings for the same will be shared soon. I would request the finalists to start preparing for the both of the contests. And for the members also, if you are gearing up to join that day, I would request the members to take up a role in the area level contest. That would be a really great initiative. And I would request the guests also to join and to motivate the people who have been selected for the area level contest. And now, I would first like to welcome our guest in the 105th meeting of our club. I would like to invite potential Toastmaster Aman on stage to please introduce himself to the members of the club.
Hi, very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Aman Khandelwal and this is my first Toastmasters meeting as a guest, and very happy new year once again. And right now I'm doing my chartered accountancy and I'm in my finals and I'm waiting for my result. I'm looking forward to be a member soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aman. Hope you like the meeting today. Okay, and next I would like to invite on stage Toastmaster Ankur to please introduce himself to the members.
Hello, everyone. I am already a member of Toastmasters Club of West Delhi, and I am here to honestly to practice my speech for upcoming area contest. And I'm here on the invitation of Diptendu. So thank you, Diptendu, for having me. And so far, meeting is going lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankur, and we wish you all the best for your speech today. So with this, I would like to invite on stage Toastmaster Lovina, who is going to address a crucial issue regarding the climate change. So let's put our hands together for Toastmaster Lovina as a debut role as the Toastmaster of the day. Giving a round of applause for her. Lovina, the stage is yours.
Lavina, you're on mute, it seems.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehek. Thank you, Madam President, for the warm welcome. And regarding climate change, I would talk to you briefly about the basic, and then probably through the call we'll progress in further advanced topics. If I may quickly share the screen, I hope it's visible. Just a moment. Just a moment. A bit of technical glitch here. Let me just Just one moment. And my screen would be up in a moment.
Is the cock crowing from my background noise too distracting?
Sorry.
There's a crowing rooster in my background. Nobody can hear.
No, I can't hear anything.
Okay.
So I hope my screen is visible now. Is it? Yeah. So what is climate change? If I talk about climate change, I'm sure a lot of us would be already aware of fewer of the details around it. So basically, climate change is a four-step process. Firstly, the human activities cause the greenhouse gas emissions. These gases form a blanket and they start trapping much of the heat from the solar radiation and lead the temperature of the earth rise. This consistent rise in the temperature further changes the weather pattern of the earth as a whole and leads to the phenomenon called climate change. So this is around the greenhouse effect. So on the left hand side, we can see the natural greenhouse effect that is very vital for the existence of the life as we know it. So if there was no greenhouse effect, everything on the earth would freeze and we would be at a temperature estimated to be negative 18 degrees Celsius. So greenhouse effect in all, it is not bad for us. But the enhanced version of it is really very bad. So this is this is the story of the earth for the last lakhs and lakhs of years with respect to the concentration of carbon dioxide. So just notice here in the last 50 to 70 years, the level of carbon dioxide has exponentially risen. So before that, it never crossed the 300 ppm mark, that is parts per million mark. But in the last century, it has crossed and we are already touching 1.1 degree as the average temperature rise globally. So yeah, this is my favorite meme on the topic, and here it's talking about the boiling frog experiment. So this is not related, but yeah, it gives the idea. So the left hand side, the pot is first boiled, and then the frog is put in the pot. That makes the frog jump immediately out, and it is saved. On the other, the right hand side pot, we first put the frog in the pot and then gradually increase the temperature. So frog have this magical ability to regulate their body temperature. So in that case, the frog there is not able to perceive the danger and it dies. It doesn't understand that it's being killed and it's being boiled alive. So that is the same scenario with humans right now. So just because of the reason that climate change was not a one-day event, humans are not able to perceive the danger. They are, not acting, enough and not putting efforts in that direction. So I'd just like to take a quick minute and if somebody can, share something. So lots of crazy facts go here and there around the climate change. If somebody can share anything specific that they heard about climate change that grabbed their eyeballs, if somebody can share anything around that. Anybody? I welcome the guests.
Actually, we can see this year onwards that winter has approached really late. And this has actually wreaked havoc on certain crops as we speak of. So this can actually lead to food shortage in the future. So this is a very recent thing that we all must have experienced.
Yeah, agree. Right. So lot of, weather patterns and climate as a whole, be it the rainfall, be it the onset of the seasons, be it the level of the humidity, everything is impacted here. So with that, on that note, I would like to, progress the meeting further. And just to set the perspective, I like to inform for the benefit of the guests that the meeting is divided into 3 sections. So the first section is the prepared speech section, wherein the would be coming up with their prepared speeches and in line with the projects and the paths that they have chosen. And there will be evaluators who would be taking notes and providing their reports in the end. The second section would be the table topic section, which is also called the impromptu speech section. We invite the guests as well as the rest of the members to take part. And 1 to 2 minutes is the time given wherein the speakers can practice their speaking on the feet technique. Further, the final and the most important round is the evaluation round, wherein the general evaluator as well as the speaker evaluators would be sharing their feedback on the speeches as well as the rest of the aspects of the meeting. So with that, I would call upon the first speaker, Toastmaster Mohit, and to evaluate his speech, we have Toastmaster Dityendu, who would be sharing the objective. Toastmaster Dityendu.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the day. So today I have got the rare honor of evaluating a keynote speech. And all of us are going to have the rare pleasure of witnessing a humorous keynote speech. So Toastmaster Mohit Sahni is currently pursuing level 5, and this is going to be a project from level 5. The objectives for today's speech are for Mohit to practice developing and presenting a longer humorous speech. It is going to be a keynote style humorous speech, and Mohit is expected to demonstrate solid presentation skills and deliver compelling content. And yes, it would help if the speech itself has got a strong core message. Wishing Toastmaster Mohit the very best. Back to Madam TMOT.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dityendu. So, off to you, Toastmaster Mohit, for your speech as the speaker one today. And the stage is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lavina. I would like to just check my audio video. Is that okay?
Yeah, you're
Thank you so much.
Yeah, audible. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So let me start by asking a question. How many of you have never made a mistake in your life? Raise your hand if you never made a mistake in your life. Okay, thank you. I see Toastmaster Lavina showing a thumbs down, which means that she's made a mistake in her life. And so have all of you. Congratulations. Because it is said that someone who's never made a mistake usually does not make anything in life. You see, if a barber makes a mistake, he can create a new hairstyle. If a teacher makes a mistake, that will be a new theory. What about if a tailor makes a mistake? That could be a new style of dress. And how many project managers in the house like me? Any managers in the house today? Toastmaster Dityendu. People like me, project managers like Dityendu and I, when we make a mistake, then it is a mistake. All right, so that's on a lighter note. But the point is that it doesn't matter whether you are making a mistake or not. What matters is, what do you do after the mistake has been made? Most of the people I know would either fight after making the mistake or they'll take a flight. But today, I am proposing to you to consider a third alternative. What is that third alternative? We'll find out. But for that, I'll have to take you back in time. The year is 1999. I'm in college. I'm very cool, or at least that's what I think. There's a New Year's Eve celebration at a friend's house. And all of us, boys and girls, belles and beaux, are completely enthusiastic about this party. You see, the friend whose house we've chosen, his parents are away. So we are going to have a time of our life. We move all the furniture around to make room for ourselves. We bring the best music, the loud and hard music, and we dim the lights. And all of us are formed a circle in the middle of the room, and everybody is busy dancing. My friend Harshul and I are sitting around the circle and sipping our pints of beer. Now, Harshul, my friend, so-called friend, is a ruffian, someone who cannot take no for an answer, and someone who's very much like a bully. Anyway, I'm the kinds who mind their own business, so I'm sitting beside him and enjoying my drink and the occasion. But there's something unusual that is happening, and even though I'm a little high, I can tell that something is wrong in the whole scenario. You see, Harshul is picking up a random hand from among the girls who are dancing and giving it a kiss. He's doing it over and over and over again. To my surprise, the girls whose hands are being kissed are also kind of okay with that. Their reaction is nothing more than, oh, what the hell was that? Or what a rogue. In fact, some of the girls are happy about it seemingly as well. Their reaction is, thank you for considering me worth it. Anyway, doesn't matter to me. I'm minding my own business. Until this happens. Harshul holds yet another hand, brings it close to his lips, slips it to mine, and says, come on, be a man. I sheepishly say, no, thank you, and continue to have my drink. But Harshul cannot take no for an answer, like I said. So he insists, come on, here I am holding this hand for you. Kiss it and kiss it now. He orders. I hold on to my drink and start drinking straight from it. Because saying no to Harshul would mean that I'm not man enough. And saying yes would be disastrous. But Harshul cannot take no for an answer. He also cannot take silence for an answer. And now his voice modulation is rising so much that all my beliefs, my experience, my knowledge are lying very low in front of the shouts that he's making. Come on, be a man, do it and do it now. And then I do something that changed my life forever. I actually held on to that hand and I kiss it. Now, all of a sudden, the entire scene changes. The loud, hard music that was playing has been brought to an abrupt halt. The dimly lit lights have become well illuminated. And all those dancing souls have transformed into a dozen pair of eyes, all looking at me with disgust, despair, and disbelief. My mind now starts to rationalize my actions. Even Harshal was doing it. Then nobody had a problem, and I do it, and I become the plate chopra of the house. This is not fair. And what about the girls? They were also okay with that. Now what happened? While I was thinking all that, somebody emerged from the front. I noticed that it was Jay. Jay is Kirti's boyfriend. Kirti, the girl with a hand, he's 6 feet 2 inches. He stands straight in front of me, and without uttering a word, he gives me a tight slap. I can see my entire life flash in front of my eyes like that. The moment that happens, I see two sides forming. On the one side was the victimized, traumatized girl, Kirti's side. And on my side was Harshal and his boys. Both the sides are ready to crush each other. I can hear, oh, ah, stuff like that. Some people even manage to arrange hockey sticks. How resourceful some people are. They could arrange that in no time. Now that the music inside was stopped, I could hear a nearby chaiwala playing his radio, which went, "Hum bhi hain josh mein, baatein kar hosh mein," which means we are full of vehemence and talk straight or we'll crush you. Very appropriate for the occasion. Now, I was standing in front of my pack, facing the other side. Thankfully, good sense prevailed in me. I took 2 steps forward. Then I turned around to my side and I said, "Shut up." Then I turned around again, walked up to where Kirti was standing, and I said to her, "Kirti, this friend of yours, Jay, has just given me a tight slap. If you want to give me another one, you're welcome to do that. If you want to punch me, kick me, you can do that today. But you know what? I'm sorry. And no matter how sissy this may sound today, I even added Kirti. And as far as that kiss is concerned, let me tell you that you were just like my sister. Well, nothing happened after that. The drama subsided. My side was left very unimpressed. I heard someone say, this was the guy we were standing for. What a loser. Anyway, the music was resumed that evening. It wasn't as hard as before. Some dancing also happened. And that's how it concluded. It's been over 20 years since that incident in college. And Kirti and I have ended up becoming friends for life. In that occasion, I could have chosen to fight. I could have taken a flight, like some people were suggesting. But I chose the third alternative. The third alternative is to accept your mistakes, make amends, and make friends. Kirti now lives in London. She has twin daughters. She didn't marry Jay. And in case if you are wondering, how do I know so much? That's because Kirti and I became friends for life after that incident. In fact, she never forgets to send me a Rakhi. That's what a third alternative can do for you. So today, I'm proposing for you to keep making mistakes, but also remember this third alternative, which is to make friends, to make amends after accepting your mistake. I continue to make the mistakes since then. It is also said that man makes the mistakes make the man. The rate at which I'm making mistakes, I'm sure I'll become a man soon. And I hope you choose that too. Admitting mistakes has several advantages. Number one, if you make mistakes and learn from them and choose the third alternative, then you end up becoming a better decision maker. You see, life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So learn from your mistakes. Number two, it can lead to deeper, stronger relationships. It may sound counterintuitive, but if you have chosen the third alternative, then your relationships will be even stronger if nothing of this sort would have happened. And third, this third alternative brings you peace of mind. In a noisy world, don't we all want some peace? I would like you to think about the mistakes that you have made in the past. What was the path that you chose? Did you fight? Did you take a flight? Or did you choose the third alternative? If you didn't choose the third alternative, then think about what could have been the possibilities had you chosen it. Recently, I was headed for my PMP exam, the Project Management Professional exam. It was a Sunday. The roads were unbelievably empty. I was passing across Dhola Kuan, and I was running late for the exam. My phone was sitting beside me in the car, the passenger seat, and suddenly I heard the beep of a text message. Now, what do you do if you're driving, running late for your exam, and the text message comes? Do you see the text message or do you ignore it and continue driving? Well, of course, I saw the text message. And the moment I saw that, I heard bang. An auto rickshaw driver had come out from R&R hospital straight in front of my car, and I had hit it from behind. The auto rickshaw turned on the left side. My car raced towards the right side and hit the divider. And I somehow controlled the car, and I was about 200 meters ahead of the auto rickshaw, which was overturned. What do you think I did? Did I run away? Did I go back and fight because it was, of course, his mistake? Or did I choose the third alternative? The third alternative with practice can become a part of your DNA, like it has become for me. So I got out of my car, ran towards the auto rickshaw wala. I hugged him. He was utterly confused. He was surprised. I asked him, "How are you?" He said, "I'm fine." He had already straightened the overturned auto rickshaw. I could see him smiling as I dusted off his pants and I headed back towards my car. That day, I cleared my PMP exam. But more importantly, I passed the test of humanity as well. That's what I believe. You can do the same thing too. Tomorrow, you will make mistakes like you've always done. It's a good thing. But when you make mistakes, remember the third alternative. Acknowledge your mistake, make amends, and make friends. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. And learning from your speech, I would like to apologize because I skipped the part wherein I was running the general evaluator, and post the second speech, I would be doing that to progress further with the meeting. And now I call upon the second speaker for today, Toastmaster Ankur, to deliver this his speech. And for this speech, the evaluator would be Toastmaster Arjun. So now over to you, Toastmaster Arjun, to read out the speech objectives.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Lavina. Toastmaster Ankur Oberoi is attempting his level 1 project 2 evaluation and feedback. I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you are, but that's not the project.
Which
It's,
what
it,
is the
it's not a part of the project. The speech is not a part of any project.
Oh, it's a general speech.
With Toastmaster Ankur, I'd like to call out here that when we deliver speeches in a club meeting, we have to tie them to an objective, a speech object. So the
Okay, I
best,
didn't know that.
yeah. So the best thing that you can do is tie it to level 1, project 2, which is about receiving feedback.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope
I'm
Toastmaster
like,
Diptendu. Yeah,
he mentioned
that's
in the
correct.
beginning, right, that he's here to practice his
That's
ISC.
perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. But
It's
we,
fine.
we need to tie to an objective, because otherwise, how will you evaluate him?
Great.
So now you have a focus, you evaluate him based on project level 1, project 2 objective,
Great.
which is about looking at his body language and the other parameters, right?
Great. So Toastmaster Ankur's objective in this speech, in this project, is to present a speech on any topic of his choice, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. So yeah, I'll be back with the evaluation report at the end of the meeting. And over to you, Toastmaster Lavina.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arjun. So over to you, Toastmaster Ankur, for your speech. And in the meanwhile, can I kindly request everybody to share feedback for Toastmaster Mohit over the chat? Over to you, Toastmaster.
It's March 23rd, 2022. I'm standing outside an operation theater. There's a huge green door right before me. The odor of the hospital is making me nauseous. A nurse comes from somewhere, taps my shoulder, and tells me that it will only take 20 minutes. She goes inside the green door, and I start looking at my watch. At this very moment, 20 minutes seem like a lifetime. I find myself thinking about what happened 20 years ago when I was a kid in school. I was running on the school stairs with my friend Ritika, and suddenly we stopped. We started peeping through a glass window into the biology lab of our school. We saw our seniors about to dissect a frog. Ritika made a face of disgust, and I teased her. Listen, girl, be a man. As the seniors started the dissection of the frog, blood started to ooze out. Watching all that blood, I didn't feel so good, and I fainted. As I'm standing in front of the green door outside the operation theater, 15 minutes have passed. And now I'm ruminating about what happened 15 years ago when I was sitting, leaning back on a dentist chair, about to get my rotten tooth extracted. I was terrified. But Ritika was besides me, as she was the only friend who had agreed to accompany me to the dentist clinic. The dentist took a pair of forceps and pulled out my tooth. It hurt, but I managed. But then that sadist dentist showed me my tooth. Look, son, how bad your tooth was. I saw blood. I didn't feel so good, and I fainted. As I'm waiting outside the operation theater, I realize that 30 minutes have passed. I keep recalling How many times I have fainted whenever I see blood, while attending a blood donation camp, while getting a blood test, while watching violent movies. Okay, the last one is not true because I only watch romantic movies. I keep thinking, how because of my fear of blood, I could never become an army man or a doctor or a vampire. I could work in a bank, but not blood bank. I keep wondering if I will ever find courage in this lifetime. An hour has passed. Suddenly, the door opens and the doctor comes out. In her arms, she is carrying a little angel who's perfectly healthy, beautiful, and she is my just born daughter. I am overwhelmed with incredible joy and love for her. 9 years of marriage, and the moment my wife and I have been waiting for is right here. Before I can ask about my wife, the doctor instructs me to come inside the recovery room. And she tells me that there has been a complication during the C-section delivery operation, hence the extra time. She explains everything to me in detail, and I helplessly stand there, feeling the pit inside my stomach. The sweetest moment of my life just turned sour. I see a bag of blood hanging on a stand near a typical hospital bed on which my wife's Ritika is resting. I go to her, I hold her hand. I see a cannula inserted in the back of her hand with some blood inside it. I didn't feel so good, and I do not faint. Instead, in that very moment, courage finds me. I say to my wife, my love, don't you worry. I'm here through whatever, whenever. Dear fellow Toastmasters and guests, I did not find courage because I was too busy to be looking for anything else except the well being of the woman I love the most. Instead, courage found me, and my wife healed and recovered in a few weeks. My dear friends, you might find strength when someone loves you, but courage can find you only when you love someone madly, truly, deeply. Are you looking for courage to propose to someone you love? When your love is mad enough, courage will find you. Are you looking for courage to quit your job to start your own venture? When you are truly in love with your $1 million idea, courage will find you. Are you looking for courage to come on the stage and speak your heart out? When you are deeply in love with what you want to speak on, courage will find you just like it found me. Over to the team on.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ankur, for that brilliant speech and the healing journey that you had as well as your own. Thank you. So now, since a bit of disruption, and if I may take this opportunity to call upon the general evaluator for the call to introduce her tag team. Over to you, Toastmaster Mehek.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lavina. Greetings, dear members and guests. I'm going to play the role of general evaluator today. So first, I'm going to explain what the role of a general evaluator is all about. In any of the things, the feedback is a very critical element that we need to receive in any of the meetings or in any of the areas of our life. Because we learn from the mistakes, and repeating the mistakes over and over again without getting the feedback is just where we don't know that where we are going, right? So in Toastmasters, we have a session which is called as general evaluation session, where we have a detailed feedback about the speeches of the whole meeting. Everything is being evaluated. So for this, I have my tag team who is going to evaluate on certain grounds. First, I would like to invite on stage Toastmaster Deepthi, the timer for the meeting. So she's going to explain her role as the timer.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehek. I will add myself to the spotlight. All right, so I'm the timer for today, and as a timer, I'm going to time the prepared speeches and the table topic speeches. Now, we had 2 speeches today with varied timings, and as for the timing cards, I will use both the chat window and my background, change in my background, which I've been doing for the last 2 speakers. So when the minimum time is up, I will change to green. So in case of a 20-minute speech, at 15 minutes, I changed the background to green. And at 5 minutes, I changed it to green for the 5-minute speech. This is how I change it to green. Similarly, when it is reached 70 minutes, I would change it to yellow. And for a 5 to 7 minute speech, at 6 minutes, I'll change it to yellow. And when the speech timing has reached its end, so 20 minutes and 7 minutes for a 5 to 7 minute speech, I'll change it to red. I will similarly be changing the colors during the table topic section. Each table topic speaker gets 1 to 2 minutes to speak. So at 1 minute, I'll change the color to green, also type it in the chat box, 1.5 minutes to yellow, and at 2 minutes to red. The table topic speakers get 30 seconds grace on the upper side, so they can speak up to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I will be using the same color code while timing the speech evaluators. So each speech evaluator gets 2 to 3 minutes. So green at 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 30 seconds yellow, and at 3 minutes up to 30 seconds, that means 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I'll show the red card, and until the speaker stops speaking. So this is my role for today. Thank you. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much for the detailed explanation of your role as a timer. Now, I see that we do not have a grammarian for the meeting today. So if anyone from the meeting itself would like to take up the role of the grammarian, if anyone can take the initiative of playing the role of grammarian.
I can surely go ahead and note the good usages and the not so good usages of grammar. And maybe I can share a word of the meeting for today a little later in the meeting. I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah, I can take it over also. I have no problem.
Sure. So Arjun, we can divide and conquer, I think.
Yes. I'll keep track of the good and bad usages.
Okay, then I'll share a word of the day in a while and paste it on the chat window. So for introducing this role to the rest of the members and especially to the guests, a grammarian keeps a note or track of all the good usages and the not so good usages of grammar, which happen throughout the meeting, regardless of who the speaker is. And we share a detailed report towards the end when the general evaluator calls us again. The grammarian also shares a word or an idiom of the day, which we encourage you to use throughout the meeting whenever you get a chance to speak, so that it gets into your system and you use it like an everyday language. That is how we help enhance vocabulary. So look forward to the meeting, to the report of a grammarian in the next section of the meeting report, in the evaluation section. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
That ended up becoming like an Instagram area.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepthi. So now for the next role, that is of the R counter, I would like to play the role of the R counter. So for an R counter, I would like that to give my description of the role, that we usually during a speech or while we are saying something, we usually tend to end up by saying like, so, or many crutch. These are usually called as the crutch words. We usually try to avoid these words in a speech. There is an R counter in the meeting today. So I will just count the number of R's and the number of times that you have used these words. So this is my role. And coming up back as the GE, I will give a full detailed description of the meeting as a whole towards the end of the meeting. So this was my role. Now would present the stage back to Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Lavina.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. And I will take that moment to go back to climate change now and quickly share my screen if possible. Yeah, so I hope everybody can see that. So what are the impacts of climate change, as we were discussing a while back, so the extreme events, extreme climate events like wildfires, drought, and flash floods are, adding to the distress of the population. Some far-reaching impacts of climate change are, water related, water as a resource. There are stress related to that, and also the long-term impact of the coming years of climate change. Just like COVID, we saw a couple of years back, we are on the route to witness even more and even huge outbreaks of diseases, and the places like the pristine and untouched places like Himalayas, and pockets of places like Bhutan, Nepal, wherein we have not seen that kind of disease outbreak in terms of malaria or dengue with our pathogen based. So there also we would be seeing a lot of things happening in the negative aspect of the climate change. So definitely the shrinking of the farming industry, farming produce, and also in the social aspect of climate change, it will lead to a lot of confusion and lot of challenges in terms of people relocating. So if I am living in a stress area, maybe I'm a Bangladeshi, so half of Bangladesh is supposed to be submerged in sea level. So I would be planning to migrate to some other location. That would in turn cost me my job, my property, whatever money that I have. So this is the far-reaching indirect impacts of climate change. So moving on, this here you see, this is a short 2-second horror movie from our very own Bollywood. So the red area here on the edges, this is all the area that is projected to be submerged in sea level by 2050. So 2050 is like not even 30 years away from today. So that is the extent of alarming the situation that we are. So moving further, we talk about the target that some nations have chosen for themselves in terms of the average temperature rise. So 1.5 being the target of some developing nations, and 2 degrees being the target of some developed countries, which are still a bit far away from the very huge impacts of climate change. So we can argue that 0.5 is the only difference and it's not a big deal. But when you come down to think about Earth as a whole, if I mention a tiny fact, that last time when the Earth was having an ice age, we've seen numerous movies on that topic. So last time, then that time, the North America, the continent as a whole, was under the ice sheet. It was covered with an ice sheet as thick as 3,000 feet. So that time, the difference was only 5 to 7 degrees. So that was the expanse of the intensity. So in this scenario, in terms of climate change, even a small 0.01 degrees would it can wage havoc on small island nations and susceptible nations in this perspective. So here on the screen, you can see in terms of the difference 1.5 degrees and 2.5, so 2 degrees in terms of the loss of flora, loss of fauna, and the insect species. And come to discuss about the coral reefs. So coral reefs are very one of the top tourist destination around are built around these coral reefs. So they would totally be dead if we were to reach 2 degrees of warming globally in terms of average temperature. So that is the kind of intensity and the ferocity of these events. So moving on with the rest of the meeting, we can now move on to the table topic section of the meeting. And I would like to call upon the table topic master. That is, for today, we have Toastmaster Mehak as the table topic master. So over to you, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rubina. Greetings, everyone. I'm the Cable Topic Master for the day. So first, I would like to explain my role as the Cable Topic Master. Cable Topic is the session, which is the third session which we have in a Toastmasters meeting, where it is an impromptu speech session. A topic is given on the spot to the selected member or the guest, and the person is required to speak for about 1 to 2 minutes on the topic given. At 1 minute, you will be shown the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, you will be shown the yellow card, and at 2 minutes, you will be shown the red card. The upper limit is 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and which is the grace period which is being given. And on the lower side as well, 30 seconds is being given. So now I would request everyone to please take part, especially the guests, to take part in the Cable Topic session. So first, I would like to call upon an experienced member of the club. So Arjun, would you like to take up a Cable Topic?
Sure.
Okay, so for the topic for you is life is short and it's up to you to make it sweet. Life is short and it's up to you to make it sweet. Back to you, Arjun.
There is a famous quote by a guy called Hobbes, who wrote a book called The Leviathan in the late 1500s or the early 1600s, in which he very famously pronounced that life is nasty, brutish, and short. That is the state of man in nature, that life is nasty, brutish, and short. And I have always believed that we have always tried to get away from nature in some way. And we thought that we could build all these cities and we could build all these nice buildings, and that we would be exempt from the tax, from the rent for existence that nature seeks. But it doesn't work like that. I read this great analogy in another book called Debt, the First 5,000 Years, in which he just mentioned something that has really stuck with me. It means that any animal who exists in the forest or in nature or in the ocean or anywhere, they are not getting 8 hours of proper sleep every night. They're not getting their proper minerals and vitamins and everything on time. Like, nobody's getting that. And we thought that by building enough structures and inside, we could like escape from this rent, from this tax that nature imposes on our day-to-day existence. But no, then nature gets into the minds of our own fellow human beings, and then we begin to oppress each other. So instead of nature oppressing us directly, it comes through that. And so in the middle of all this very gloom and doom, the fact that we are supposed to make it sweet, yes, uh, I definitely agree that by definition, life owes you nothing, and you can take the stance that, okay, so if life owes you nothing, then you also don't owe anything, which is your choice to make, which is a choice many people make, and it is a totally valid choice. But if you choose that you're going to make something out of yourself, and that you're going, no matter how bad your situation is, you want to do something nice or make something happen, or just do one small little thing that is anti entropy, that is something beautiful, right? Not just more perpetual, more of the perpetual state of nature. So yeah, it is up to you to make it sweet. But if you don't want to make it sweet, I totally understand. I totally understand if you're like bitter and resentful, and you're just annoyed that you're not tall enough, strong enough, you lost your hair early, that you're not born in the right place, or your parents are not good. Like blaming your parents, that is, I feel, that is all of those are valid complaints. Like, why did you have me? Like, if you didn't have all the resources necessary, why did you even bother to have me? Like, to go through this, like, all of those are valid complaints. So yes, if you want to make it sweet, you should make it sweet. But if you don't, I also completely understand that.
Thank you so much, Arjun, for this hilarious take on the topic. Now, I would request any guest to come up and take up a topic. So, Aman, okay, I see Toastmaster Ankur has raised his hand. Okay, so I have a topic for you. So, the topic for you is too many cooks spoil the broth. Too many cooks spoil the broth. The stage is yours.
I was staying alone when COVID hit us. I didn't know how to cook. I was totally reliant on my maid, but she stopped coming. I promised her that I am going to pay you extra if you come during COVID, but she refused. What a smart lady she is. So I decided to take the help of something that almost everyone has used, YouTube. So I opened the YouTube channel and I followed each and every instruction of how to make a biryani. Because see, I don't believe in simplicity at all. I believe you should always strive for the best, and biryani is the best. So I followed every step, but nothing happened. And then I learned the mistake that I had done. I had all the ingredients. Whatever the cook on the YouTube was telling, I was doing exactly that. But I forgot to switch on the stove. Apparently, the cook did not tell that. He assumed that people would be knowing that they are supposed to switch on the stove, but I did not. So not only too many cooks can spoil the broth, a single cook like me can also spoil the broth. Over to the TTMs.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankur. It was a really wonderful speech, and you tried to comprehend and overturn the topic also. So it was wonderful. Now, I see Toastmaster Anusha is ready to take up a topic.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so the topic for you is the beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you.
The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you. Well, to speak conversely, the beautiful thing about learning is that if you don't want to learn, you just don't learn. But not to speak on a lighter side and to speak on a more serious note, let me see. What does this topic really imply? It implies that the depth of knowledge which one can get cannot be something which can be wiped away in a moment. One might have wealth, one might have a lot of assets, but a fluke of fate or bad fate can take it away from you. But if you have picked up some learning, some skill, some expertise, then that is something which cannot be taken away from you. Again, this is a very debatable topic, but we are speaking, let's say, at the periphery. The beauty about this is that it is proven in psychology also. If you have psychomotor skills like driving, if you have learned to drive, if you have learned to speak, unless there is a major fault in nature, you don't forget it. So once you've learned to drive, once you've learned to swim, you're not able to forget it, even if you perform that same task after years and years. So that is another aspect in which we are, what we are talking today. But the beauty of learning is that no one can take it away from you. But I suspect this topic is more on a philosophical note. And that philosophical note is that immerse yourself in whatever you are acquiring or learning. If you do it with true perspicaciousness, if you do it with true insight, and you do it with a feeling of wanting to actually gauge what you are learning, then that is something which becomes so inescapably yours that no one, nowhere, at no point of time can take it away from you. And that is a treasure you can really cherish. So the learning from this topic is that when you do something, accept that learning as an unrepeatable learning and do it with full-heartedness. That's it from my side. Back to the Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anusha. It was a really great and inspirational speech that you gave about the learning and how that learning is a treasure for all of us. Like we need to keep it with ourselves. Now, I would request guest Aman to take up a topic.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah. So the topic for you is when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. I guess your 30 seconds are over.
I'm sorry, but I'm not ready. Can I not speak, please?
Just start, and then you'll find it 1 minute down the line. Just go.
I think I'll take the example of the current situation right now. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Everyone can see it is very tough for me to speak right now, as I'm not very much experienced. And but I think, as our colleague Arjun said, that if I speak, then I'll be able to speak continuously. That is, the tough gets going. So that I think that it is applicable in our life as well. That until unless we enter into a situation, we don't know how will it proceed. First of all, we need to enter, then we need to analyze it, that how are we going to handle it, what are the circumstances, and then we'll get a chance to proceed further. And I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Toastmaster Aman. It was wonderful. Like you tried for your first time, and it is really tough to keep a stand and that you actually spoke. That's a really great job. Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would like to take up a topic? Bidu?
Bidu would like to. It seems.
Anyone else who would like to take up a topic?
Okay, I will.
Okay. So the topic for you is time heals all the wounds. Time heals all the wounds. The stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehek, for giving me this topic, which is called Time Heals All the Wounds. Well, that is a popular notion, but I would like to disagree with it. It's not time alone which heals all the wounds. It's also your mental makeup, your willingness to heal that wound, which will ultimately put you in a better space. We've all been hurt in different capacities at different points in times. As kids, we used to get hurt when we used to fall down on the road playing cricket, football, hide and seek. And what do you think happened that time? Did it heal by itself? No. Your mom or somebody elder in the family would have applied an ointment, cleaned it with Dettol. So something had to be done, some effort had to be made. I would like to extend that analogy to hurt that we get through an emotional connect today, or the loss of a loved one. Well, ultimately it heals, but with effort. And this time, the effort is more from our mental side. The willingness to heal that wound or that lacuna. So, in my opinion, yes, time does heal, but with some forced effort. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster Mehek.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepti. It was a very wonderful take on the topic. Now, next, anyone else who would like to take up a topic? Or let's call it a round because, okay, I see Toastmaster Mohit has raised his hand.
I'm inspired by Aman. So I feel like I'm done. Given a speech of 20 minutes for the first time in my life, but I'm actually inspired by Aman. Thank you. I'd like to take up a topic.
Okay, so the topic for you is there's no time like the present. There's no time like the present. The stage is yours, Toastmaster Mohit.
Yesterday is history, tomorrow is mystery. Today is a gift, and that's why we call it the present. Today we are meeting here in this Toastmasters Club of Storytellers regular meeting, and many years from now, we will look back at this time and we will realize that that was a really good time. That was a time when we were smiling, we were celebrating each other's little wins, we were learning, we were growing. And that's why we need to make the most of this time. We need to be fully present in where we are. Because if I'm here and attending a phone call or busy with something else, then I'm not doing justice to the present. If I'm doing justice to the present, then that means that I'm completely involved in whatever I'm doing right now. It's also the definition of sanity, right? Be sane, think about your present, and make the most of it, because that's all we've got. We don't even know whether we'll have the next moment to live or not. So might as well make the most of the time that we have. So I will definitely make it a point to make the most of the present, and I wish you the same. Thank you, and back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Mohit. And I believe that all we have is now, so we should live in the present time only. nothing to fear about the future, because everything that is to be done, it is to be done in the present moment only. So thank you so much for your speech. And I think that everyone has taken part in the cable topics. So now let's wrap up this round. And thank you so much everyone for taking part in the cable topics. These were the simple topics that we usually get in the contests, and not just in the contest, but we usually have them because these are the codes. So for one tip for these topics would be, like, whenever you are speaking on these type of topics, like as a general code or it is generalized, not on a specific thing, what we can do is we can just try to add up a story in these type of topics, so to give it a personal touch and to indulge it in some of the things that is related to you. That would make the topic more interesting. So thank you so much everyone. Now we present the stage back to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Lovina.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak. Fabulous table topic session there. And now I would like to take everyone back to my screen, if it is visible, I hope now.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is one of the advanced topic in climate change, that is about the tipping points. And to simply understand it, so in terms of the ecosystem level. So here, if we see, we are playing, someone is playing with the ball, and he keeps pushing the ball up, it would certainly come back to the starting position, the left-hand side position, and it will be in a stable position there. But once we keep pushing it and take it to the top of the hill, at that instance, if a tiny push is further tiny push is given to the ball, it would roll down and we will never be able to get it back to the stable position, that is the left hand side position. So this is the idea about the tipping points. A lot of ecosystems in our earth have already, the tipping point has already been set up in motion. Talking about the permafrost in the poles, or maybe the Amazon rainforest tipping point. Yeah, so moving further, yeah, so this is a concept around the Earth Overshoot Day. This highlights the level of consumption that the humanity does. Okay, so the concept here is we mark a day in each year which marks the consumption, the complete consumption of Earth's ecological resources. So humanity, in terms of ecological resources, consumes water, air, nutrients, sunlight, and everything that the earth provides. So those ecological resources keep on regenerating. That is the way of the nature. So when humanity has eaten up the ecological resource to the level that the earth is not able to regenerate it that fast, that day is marked as the Earth Overshoot Day. So when this concept started, it was usually falling in November and December. It used to be like that, but in recent year, it had started, progressing towards the third quarter of the year and falling in August, and the last year it fell somewhere in the end of July. So this is the concept about that. Now the feedback loops. These are very vital in a number of situations. So the thing here is that the process is cyclic in nature. The certain impact of the climate change on a certain ecosystem leads to further, instigating more of change in that ecosystem, and the cycle goes on like a vicious loop. So this is about the feedback loop. Similarly, on the same lines, it is estimated that Amazon rainforest, which is called the lungs of the earth, they are supposed to be, they would be transformed into a carbon source somewhere around 2030 to 2040, somewhere between that time, it would turn into a carbon source rather than being a carbon sink. So carbon sink means you absorb carbon, and carbon source means you emit carbon. So that is about the feedback loops. And so moving further, a little about the global north and the global south and the irony around who is bearing the brunt of the situation and who is taking up the responsibility proactively. So developing nations are usually falling in the global south, and they are bearing the brunt of the situation. They have extreme weather scenarios and deep social and economic impacts as of now, as of today. While on the other hand, the northern, the global north, which is the actual culprit, which in the process of development and in the process of industrial revolution actually created the emissions that are causing the climate change. They are not taking up the responsibility in the, in the desired, in the required manner. So this is the irony of the climate change. Now, regarding this day being the first day of the year, and we, making New Year resolutions and everything, these are some of the small actions that we can do at an individual level, which we can, by the virtue of which we can minimize our carbon footprint on the earth. We can minimize the negative impact that we are making on the earth, like avoiding plastic, avoiding food waste. And on the level of, if you talk personally, even on my family level, I have made so many changes, and in terms of rationing water, and in terms of reusing wastewater, in terms of planning the meals in advance, so as to minimize the food waste, because food waste also is a very big cause of methane emission. And further down the line, traveling less and using car less, taking the public transport, and modifying the diet a bit to have a plant-based diet. These are some of the actions that I am practicing on my family level, on my personal level, to minimize the impact. But yeah, further, if you come down to understand, or if we want to see the impact on a large scale, it is the big corporations, it is the big companies who have actually caused and actually kick-started this process, who would be able to bring out that dramatic change, and the dramatic steps that are required from the perspective of mitigation of this whole situation. So on that note, if I can go around the table, a quick one-liner, or maybe sharing what you can you plan to do as a climate action, if I may say, in terms of minimizing your impact. Or maybe there are people who are actually, even now there might be someone who might be actually doing something in that direction. So if anybody can volunteer and share anything for the benefit of the call. Anybody? Yeah. So Toastmaster Mohit is suggesting to work from home to reduce the travel, as well as the building footprint.
I think there are two industries that never come into limelight when we talk about climate change, and I personally think that they are one of the biggest contributors of carbon footprint. One is the fashion industry. It forces people to keep on buying new clothes when they actually don't need it. And because of so much reliant on polyester in fashion industry, so polyester causes a lot of carbon emissions. So one is fashion industry that no one talks about, and second is the junk food industry. So let us take an example of McDonald's. So when McDonald's, you look at its packing, you look at the way it is made, it gives you empty calories. So you are using the food resources You're spoiling the food resource, and the nutrients of the food are nullified, and you're consuming that. So one, it is causing food wastage. It is giving you absolutely no nutrients. So it also causes pressure on the medical facilities. So if more people are unhealthy, that will cause more pressure on the medical system, which in turn has its own carbon footprint. The mask, the syringes, all those pipes, and anything that is involved in medical is full of plastics. So there's load on that also when you eat junk food, and junk food makes you crave it more. Like you don't crave ghee tori tinde, right? You crave burgers, you crave pizzas, because they have been made in such a way that they cause addiction. So you demand more and more out of the system to soothe your craving, although for a moment. So these two industries are very crucial as per my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. And the worst part around, the big corporations like Tesco and the big corporations like H&M. So there's a huge amount of greenwashing, if I may introduce that term. Greenwashing is where in these corporations, they tend to token take small token steps, not actually having a big impact, and publicizing it in such a manner that it looks good, just in order to remain be a good guy in the media, be a good guy in between their customers. So that's called greenwashing. And you cut down like 1 lakh trees for a development project, and in compensation you're planting 1,000 trees in somewhere where the trees are not going to survive. They are not native species. So it's just like tokenism, and you're greenwashing, and you're putting out a false narrative to make others believe that you're a good guy, you're saving the environment. And in actual, the token effort that you made, it has no positive impact on the environment, and at the end of the day, you're just hurting them. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, thank you. So with that note, I would like to call upon the general evaluator to come ahead with the report for the feedback. This is the final section of the call, and this is the section wherein the speakers would be able to collect constructive feedback on their speeches. So over to you, Toastmaster Mehak, for the evaluation section. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lovina. Greetings, everyone. I'm the general evaluator for the meeting. So moving ahead with the section, first we'll have the polls for the best speaker. So I'm going to put the polls on for the best speaker. Speaker 1 is Toastmaster Mohit and Speaker 2 is Toastmaster Ankur. I would repeat, Speaker 1 is Toastmaster Mohit and Speaker 2 is Toastmaster Ankur.
Mehak, you can remove our co-host access so we can vote as well.
Okay, sure.
Or maybe the next polls. Let these be direct message you are.
Okay. Yeah, those who are the co-hosts, you can please send a direct message to me regarding the best speaker. So I have received 3 votes till now. Okay, so we have got 4 votes now. I guess 2 are left for the voting.
That must be me.
Okay. So I think we are done with the voting. I'm closing the polls now. Okay, thank you so much. So now with this, I've ended the polls. We'll share the results during the end of the meeting. And as a general evaluator, first I would like to call upon the speech evaluators. And for this, I would like to call upon Toastmaster Diptendu, the evaluator for Toastmaster Mohit. Diptendu, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Madam General Evaluator. You know, I wouldn't even listen to Narendra Modi for 10-20 minutes. Why should I listen to Mohit Sahni? The answer is simple. Because Mohit established a friendship with me as the audience by starting with a humorous take. What if a barber makes a mistake? What if a tailor makes a mistake? What if a teacher makes a mistake? Starting humorously or with a humorous punch and statement gets the audience on your side, and Mohit did that. Not only that, it is very important for a keynote speaker to build credibility. And he invoked himself that he is a project manager. He involved the audience, asking them who in the audience was a project manager and what if a project manager makes a mistake. These couple of statements right at the beginning made me comfortable. It whetted my appetite for what was to come in the next 15 to 20 minutes. The core message, the theme of the speech was crystal clear, and not even once did Mohit budge from it. The core message of the speech was crystal clear, and Mohit repeated it, reiterated it time and again during the speech and at the end of the speech. What was the theme and the message of the speech? I'm sure all of you would remember, but I will repeat here. The theme of the speech was making mistakes and how to deal with them. The message of speech was so small, less than 10 words, that you make amends and then make friends. Time and time again, Mohit said that there are always three ways to deal with a mistake: fight, flight, or the third way. And this is ingrained in my mind just because through two stories that Mohit narrated, the message got ingrained in my head. Now, coming back to the stories that were narrated by Mohit. First of all, he wove a story with a lot of characters. The first story had so many characters. It had Jay and Kirti, it had Mohit himself, and his notorious friend, Harshul. The story did not only have characters, it also had a situation wherein the people were partying, they were drinking, dancing, and Harshul, the notorious one, was up to his crazy activities. And finally, there was a conclusion resulting in Mohit apologizing to Kirti and the lifelong friendship that they were able to establish. And of course, the conclusion of the first story was followed up with the core message and the core theme that you always have a third way apart from fight and flight to deal with a mistake, and it always leads to good things. My recommendation here is that Mohit could have made it a little more humorous. He could have made more humorous description of the situations he was narrating. He could have even used props. What do I mean here? So the first story, it talked about kissing a girl's hand. What if Mohit used a prop of a hand? Now, a hand, looking at a hand by itself is creepy without a human being attached to it. So maybe that could have been a funny, humorous prop that he could have used. Also, Mohit displayed admirable handle over English language. He used triads like disgust, despair, and disbelief. He used words like sheepishly and ruffian. He used idioms like Prem Chopra of the house. He even translated a Hindi song to English, Hum bhi hai josh mein, baatein kar hosh mein, to full of vehemence, talk straight or we'll crush you. He demonstrated admirable control over English language. Well, all in all, the speech had everything that the project demanded and more. In as far as humor is concerned, I think use of props and constructing more vivid humorous descriptions can take the speech to the next level. Back to Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Diptendu, for such a detailed evaluation for the speech of Toastmaster Mohit. Next, I would like to invite on stage Toastmaster Arjun for the evaluation of Toastmaster Ankur's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mehak, General Evaluator. It found me. Toastmaster Ankur's speech was based on his lifelong fear, a lifelong fear of his, and how he found the courage to deal with it. First off, the most striking thing about his speech to me was the production quality. It was a very well produced, it had all the good production values like good sound, good lighting, costume was on point, audio was good, there was so much space, and the background was good. Like all these like product, it made it sound like it made it look like you are preparing for a YouTube channel, like one of those talking head videos that YouTubers put out nowadays. It was very good production quality. I also commiserated with because there were a lot of attempts at humor made in the speech, and which I found funny because they fell flat. Which is great because like he tried to have so many punchlines which were actually funny, but somehow the timing was off or something was off. Where he said, I could work in a bank but not in a blood bank, and everybody knew it was funny, but somehow that like it didn't get the reaction. So I have had that experience so many times, so I can completely commiserate with you that these are funny lines, like listen girl, be a man, that's a funny line, but somehow in the delivery it got lost. Like the dentist shows you too, that was a good premise. Like all these, like there is the attempt, but that something is missing now. That is why comedy is so difficult. Like I can tell you that something is missing, but I don't know exactly what. Okay, you have to figure that out for yourself. Anyways, coming to something that can improve, I felt like there was a lot of the production quality was on like 100% good. The narrative structure was based on, there were 3 incidents throughout life, and the third incident being where you found the courage to transcend yourself. It did come across, but it was still somewhere disjointed for me personally. This is a subjective opinion. I am pretty sure somebody else might have found it smooth. Like it didn't flow properly from for me, only for me. But that is the only thing I can find, that I'm supposed to like the speech, but somewhere the emotional connect was missing for me. Again, I don't know how to get that, but I just felt like it was not there. Again, I love the way you use the entire stage, the body language. I felt like your body language, you leaned on it a little too much at some points, where it was not necessary also. Like when you were in the dentist chair and you were leaned, I felt that was one incident where it was kind of unnecessary, or it was too much. It was distracting from the main plot, I felt. Other than that, yes, great. Like you have all the production values, you have everything, you have all the tools, but that a little bit of the soul is missing, I feel. I think you can work on that. Other than that, great speech.
Thank you, Arjun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arjun. It was a detailed evaluation for the speech of Toastmaster Ankur. For both of the evaluators, great job done. You did fulfill the criteria that was giving the evaluation on the basis of the CRC approach, that is commendation, recommendation, and commendation. So kudos to both of you. Next, I would like to invite the tag team players to give a detailed report. First, I would like to invite on stage the timer for the day, Toastmaster Deepti, to please give a detailed report as the timer.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. I will share the timing sheet with everybody. Just give me a thumbs up if you could see my screen. Okay, great. So the first slot is for the speakers. So Mohit spoke for 15 seconds. And speaker number 2, Toastmaster Ankur, spoke for 7 minutes, 23 seconds, which is just about on the mark. So just keep a tap on the timings, especially Toastmaster Ankur, with the objective with which you've delivered the speech today. Next up are the table topic speakers. We had Toastmaster Arjun speak for 3 minutes, 7 seconds. Ankur speak for 1 minute, 37 seconds. Toastmaster Anusha, 2 minutes, 16. Guest Aman, 1 minute, 5 seconds. You would definitely cross the 1 minute mark. So Deepti spoke for 1 minute, 27 seconds. Toastmaster Mohit spoke for 1 minute, 42 seconds. Toastmaster Diptendu gave his evaluation for 3 minutes, 25 seconds. And Toastmaster Arjun for 3 minutes and 19 seconds. That's the timing report for today. So thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Mehak.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Deepti, for the visual representation of the timing sheet and for the detailed explanation of your role as the timer and the evaluation as well. Now, next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Arjun to give the report for the grammarian, the good usages and the not so good usages.
Since I took up the grammarian's role after both the speeches were done, I really only have good usages for the table topics. Toastmaster Anusha was polished as usual. Her whole speech was a demonstration of all the good usages of grammar. Toastmaster Deepthi used the word lacuna, which I have only heard used in my office for some reason. But is it? I don't know. I've never heard anybody using this word outside of an official setting, but she used it in a Toastmaster, which is an official setting, I guess. So that was nice. Toastmaster Mohit, again, I think Toastmaster Deeptendu has made enough, has pointed out all the good usages of grammar, so I'm not going to repeat myself. Bad usages, I didn't really keep track of many because I was busy preparing my evaluator report, but I did see some of those typical usages where, we will go next time or something like that, like all those basic vernacular usages where our Hindi comes into the way we use speak Hindi comes into the way we speak English. Other than that, yes, that is my grammarian.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arjun, for taking up the role in the nick of the hour and preparing the evaluation sheet as well. So thank you so much. Next, I would like to give my report as an hour counter. First, everybody, starting with Toastmaster Lovina, she used more than 7 hours and gum. She was the host for the meeting today, so it was exceptional. Toastmaster Mohit, he used 2 to 4 hours and gums. Toastmaster Ankur was flawless in his speech, starting with the table topic section. Toastmaster Arjun used 3 to 4 hours and gums. Anusha, I finally found 2 hours in her speech as well. Then guest Aman, he has more than 5 hours and gums. Toastmaster Deepthi has 1 to 2 hours, and Toastmaster Mohit was flawless. Next, in the evaluation session, Toastmaster Diptendu was flawless, and Toastmaster Arjun has 2 to 3 hours and gums. So for the point that here I want to make is to reduce your hours and gums in a speech is to give a pause when you're not speaking. That is the best way. But sometimes, however, we are not able to give a pause because we have to speak something at the moment itself. So for this, the only thing that we can do to reduce the hours and gums is practice and practice and practice, which will tend to make you a best communicator in the life. So with this, the report for the hour counter is done. Next, I would like to present my report as the general evaluator for the meeting. So first, starting with the meeting, our meeting started at about 3:37, which is quite late. We were 7 minutes late from the scheduled time. The time allotted, so we need to work upon the timings. Moving on to the Sergeant at Arms. Sergeant at Arms was very energetic. He started the meeting with a very high note. And one of the things that I like in the meeting initially, like he started with, like he made every one of us click on the links and subscribe to all the YouTube channels and all the links of the Tcst'S. That was a very good approach. And I must say, like this is a brilliant approach to start a meeting. Well, moving on, the guests were introduced. We could see that there were many guests initially in the meeting itself. Next, Toastmaster Lovina as a debut role as the Toastmaster of the day did a fantastic job. So I would like to give a hands of applause to her. It was her first role that she performed. Kudos to you, Lovina. You did a fantastic job as the Toastmaster of the day. You gave so many facts about the climate change, how to reduce and how to even conquer and how to win in that situation. So everything was really great. The session was totally detailed. However, it was your first time. So my only recommendation for you is to make it quite interesting, the session could have been more interactive with the audience. I could feel that the audience presence or the attraction with the audience was a little less. This could have been evolved. So next, moving on to the Toast cable topic session. This was really great. The guests took part in really great number. So that was really a great initiative for all the guests. And as in the cable topic session itself, I've given the link that how you can improve in the cable topic session, that is to add story if there is a generalized topic. Moving on to the evaluation section, where the evaluators, Toastmaster Arjun and Toastmaster Diptendu, did a very fantastic job. They gave a detailed evaluation to the speakers, and they both followed the CRC approach while giving their evaluation. For the and now for the tag team players, everyone gave a detailed report, and everything was done effectively in the meeting today. So I could feel like everyone did a fantastic job in the meeting while they shared the evaluations report as well. I would like to give a kudos to Toastmaster Deepti because she also shared the visual report with all of us, which was also a great initiative. So that was a great initiative, Toastmaster Deepti. Next, we did not have a grammarian today in the meeting. So my only recommendation would be that we could have a grammarian, and for the other time, let's prepare an agenda well in advance, so that because the word of the day is really important in the meeting itself. Other than the fact, I think the cable topic speakers were really fantastic. They did a very great job while participate in the meeting, and guest Aman, he also participated in the cable topic session, which was a great initiative because you need to speak if you have to reach somewhere. So it's a great thing. Well, other than the fact, my only recommendation for the meeting on the whole would be that we could have started on time. The session could have been a little more interactive with the guests. And last thing, the only thing is that we could have the agenda prepared in the advance so that we do not have to figure upon the meeting itself, finding the role players. So this was my report. And now we will move on. First, I would like to present the stage back to Toastmaster Lovina. After that, we will have the polls. So Lovina, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Thank you for that detailed report, and everybody's contribution is supposed to be applauded here. Yeah. So coming back to the closing of my topic, I think my job is half done in terms of steering the members of this call to a thinking to put on a thinking hat and think in that direction and perceive the threat that's coming on to us, and in terms of our children and grandchildren, what is awaiting in their future. I think my job is half done, and if anybody in the call is able to take up climate action and as a new year resolution, and share anything over the WhatsApp around it, that would be a job fully done from my end. So that's it for my time, and I hand it over to Madam President to do the closing formalities for the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Lovina, for such a wonderful session about climate change. Now, first we will have the voting. So I'm going to share the polls. We are done with the best speaker. So now I would like to present the poll for the best evaluator. So we had two evaluators. The first evaluator was Toastmaster Diptendu, and second evaluator was Toastmaster Arjun. So I'm launching the polls. Please vote. Okay, so I've got 2 votes till now. Yeah, 3, 4. Okay, so I think I've got 4 votes now. So I'm going to close the poll for the best evaluator. I think I've not, for the co-host, you're still the co-host. So you can send me directly for the best evaluator. Now moving upon to the best cable topic speaker. So I have the list over with me for the best cable topic speaker. First speaker was Toastmaster Arjun. Second is Toastmaster Ankur. Third is Toastmaster Anusha. Fourth is Toastmaster Aman. Fifth speaker was Toastmaster Deepthi. And sixth was Toastmaster Mohit. In the polls, we have 7 speakers, so I would request not to vote for the speaker number 7. Toastmaster Deepthi, could you please put the list of the speakers on the chat section as well, if it is possible?
Am I qualified? I thought I went above 3 minutes or something, no?
Yes, thank you so much. We have the list on the chat section. I'm going to launch the polls now. I would request not to vote for the speaker number 7. I've launched the polls. Please start voting. I'm just waiting for one more vote.
That
Okay.
must be me, I guess.
Yes, I've received your vote for the chat from the chat section. For the polls, and I'm closing the polls. I've received 4 votes. Thank you so much. Now I'm launching the polls for the best auxiliary role player. For the best auxiliary role player, grammarian, it was Toastmaster Arjun. There was no active listener. Timer, it was Toastmaster Deepthi. And our counter, it was Toastmaster Mehak. So please start voting. I'm just waiting for one more vote, and I would request the cohorts to please vote send in through the chat section personally to me. Okay, I've received all the votes. Now I'm going to end the poll. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Now for the best role player. So there were 3 role players: Toastmaster of the Day is Toastmaster Lavina, Cable Topic Master is Toastmaster Mehak, and General Evaluator is also Toastmaster Mehak. I would request you to please vote. I'm just left with, I think, 2 to 3 more people who are required to vote. Okay, so I'm waiting for one more vote now. Okay, so I've received all the votes now. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, so now let's start. First of all, thank you so much, everyone, for taking part in the 105th meeting of Toastmasters Club of Storytellers. We were less in hand today, but we pulled it off through very nicely. Now, first, I would like to invite on stage our guest, Aman, to give a feedback for the meeting.
Hello. Yes. Since I already said this was my first meeting, I actually had no idea how does the meeting proceed. I just saw a sample video on the website itself, and I really feel that it went great, and I really feel that I'll soon become a member and a Toastmaster as well. And it was really great seeing all of you and meeting all of you over here.
Thank you so much, Aman. It was really great having you today for the meeting. We hope that you enjoyed the session today, and we're hoping that you will join us next Sunday as well at the same time.
Yes.
Next, I would like to invite Toastmaster Ankur to please provide a feedback for the meeting.
It was an awesome meeting and everyone is so supportive here and really loved the way the meeting went. Especially, I love the theme of the meeting, which was set to climate change, a much needed theme. So overall, it was a wonderful meeting. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ankur, for coming today here and delivering a speech. It was really nice meeting you today for the meeting. So with this, we are done with the guest feedback. So now I would like to announce the winners for the meeting, starting with our best speaker. So any guesses for the best speaker? We had 2 speakers today in the house. It was Toastmaster Mohit and Toastmaster Ankur. So any answers for the best speaker?
Both of them were too good.
It is really difficult to make a choice, but the 100% vote has been given to one of the person. So if anyone who would like to guess who is the winner.
Now everybody knows, no?
Well, the clear-cut winner is Toastmaster Mohit. So round of an applause for him. Congratulations, Toastmaster Mohit. It was a really wonderful
Thank you
speech.
so much. Thank you. I was thinking it would be Ankur. His speech was amazing as well. But thank you so much.
Thank you. So moving on to the best evaluator. So any guesses for the best evaluator? There were 2 evaluators. First one was Toastmaster Diptendu and second one was Toastmaster Arjun.
This one is equally hard to guess.
Okay, so then I will announce the winner. It is Toastmaster Diptendu, the best evaluator. Please give a round of an applause for him. Congratulations, Diptendu.
Thank you so much.
Next, for the best table topic speaker. Well, it was a really difficult choice. And if I show you the result of the polls, it shows the equal winner. There are 4 winners today for the table topic
really?
section, but
That's, that's
Toastmaster
unbelievable.
Lovina has turned the tables. So now we have one clear-cut winner who has just won from 1 vote. So any guesses for that best table topic speaker?
Ankur.
Well, yes, you are absolutely right, Toastmaster Mohit. It is Toastmaster Ankur. So round of an applause for Toastmaster
Thank you.
Ankur.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Toastmaster Ankur.
Thank you.
You'd like to hear the names of others as well. The second run of the first runner-ups, I guess, if possible.
Yes, sure. First is Toastmaster Arjun, then Toastmaster Ankur, Toastmaster Arjun, Toastmaster Anusha, and Toastmaster Deepti. All of us are winners.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations to everyone. Next, for the best auxiliary role player. Any guesses? There were 3 role players today. Toastmaster Arjun as the grammarian, Toastmaster Deepti as the timer, and Toastmaster Mehak as the accounter.
Toastmaster Mehak.
Well, yes, I've got the honors to win today. Thank you so much, everyone.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Now, coming to the last one, that is the best role player. So there were 3 role players: Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Lovina, Table Topic Master, Toastmaster Mehak, and General Evaluator. Again, it was me, Toastmaster Mehak. Again, if I show you the scorecard, it shows that both of us are winners, but 1 vote again has made and turned the tables down. Okay, so both of us are winners for this table topic and the general evaluation session as well. We have got the equal votes. So thank you so much,
Congratulations.
everyone. So congratulations, Lovina, for winning as the table topic master, as the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much, everyone. So these were the names of the winners, those who have won. And for everyone who took part to participate in the meeting today, Kudos to all of you. You did a fantastic job. So with this, I would like to close the meeting down. So I would like to stop the recording as well.